Hello, my dear Aptis students. Let us continue doing these exercises. It says, understanding hares. With his wild stare, swift speed, and secretive nature, the UK's brown hare is the rabbit's mysterious cousin. Even in these days of agricultural intensification, the hare is still to be seen in open countryside, but its numbers are falling. Research has shown that hare's milk is extremely rich and fatty, so a little goes a long way. In order to produce such nutritious milk, females need a high quality, high calorie diet. Hares are selective eaters, and at the best of times, unlike many herbivores, they can sit around waiting to digest low quality food. They need high energy herbs and other leaves in order to sprint. This causes them problems when faced with the smallest alterations of food availability and abundance, so as well as reductions in the diversity of farmland habitat. The decline of this range of food plants is injurious to hares. So what's going on here? Let's see. Reproductive patterns. The problem with being a fussy eater. That's a big problem. They eat a lot, but sometimes they can have problems because of the fact that they do eat a lot. But how can females manage to do this while simultaneously feeding themselves and rearing their young? The reason is that hares have evolved such self-sufficient young. Unlike baby rabbits, leverets are born furry and mobile. They weigh about 100 grams at birth and are immediately left to their own device by their mother. Wow. A few days later, the members of the little creep away to create their own individual resting places, known as forms. Incredibly, their mother visits them only once every 24 hours, and even then, she only stalks them for a maximum of 5 minutes each. This lack of family contact may seem harsh to us, but it's a strategy that draws less attention from predators. At the tender age of the 2 weeks, leverets start to feed themselves while still drinking their mother's milk. They grow swiftly and are fully weaned on 4 weeks, reaching adult weight to about 6 months. Wow, this is all about reproductive patterns. No. The problem with being a fuzzy eater? No. I already checked that. A comparison between past and present, a possible solution. Here, a rather lonely beginning. They just explain how their mothers leave them. Brown hares have unusual lifestyles for their large size. Breeding from a young age and producing many leverets or babies, there are about 3 litters of up to 4 leverets every year. Both males and females are able to breed at about 7 months old, but they have to be quick because they seldom live for more than 2 years. The breeding season runs from January to October, and by late February, most females are pregnant or giving birth to their first litter of the year. So it seems strange, therefore, that is in March, when the breeding season is already on the way, that hares seemingly go mad, boxing, dancing, running, and fighting. This has given rise to the age-old reference to Mad March hares. In fact, boxing occurs throughout the breeding season, but people tend to see this behavior more often in March. This is because in the succeeding month, dusk, the time when hares are most active, is later when fewer people are about. Crops and vegetation are also taller, hiding hares from view. Though it is often thought that they are males fighting over females, boxing hares are usually females fighting off males. Hares are mostly solitary, but a female fights off a series of males until she's ready to mate. This occurs several times through the breeding season because as soon as the male has given birth, she will be ready to mate again. So, what are they describing here? I would say reproductive patterns. They're talking about here when they start the breeding season, the times, what happens, and everything related to reproductive patterns. And then it says, the rapid turnaround of the breeding cycle suggests that hares should, in principle, be able to increase their populations quickly to exploit new habitats. They certainly useful studies show that hares evolved on the open plains and spread rapidly westwards from the Black Sea after the last ice age, though they were probably introduced to Britain as a species to be hunted for the spot by the Romans. But today, hares are thwarted to the lack of rich farmland habitat. When the delicate herbs and other plants they rely on are plunged up or poisoned by herbicides, these wonderful agile runners disappear too, taking with them some of the wildness from our lives. Unbelievable. So this would be reproductive patterns, the problem. A comparison between past and present survival rates. They're telling me here, for instance, they mention in the Romans, that's the antique, old past. And now here they're telling me today what happens today. So that will be a comparison between past and present survival rates. There were more hares than today. Like many herbivores, brown hares spend a relatively large amount of their time feeding. They prefer to do this in the dark, but when nights are short, their activities do spill into daylight hours. Whenever they leave, hares appear to have a fondness for fields with a variety of vegetation. For example, short as well as longer clumps of grasses. Studies have demonstrated that they benefit from uncultivated land and other unploughed areas on farms, such as field margins. Therefore, if farmers provided patches of woodland in areas of pasture as well as assorted crops in arable areas, there would be year-round shelter and food. And this could be the key to turning around the current decline in hare populations. So this paragraph discusses a comparison between a possible solution to falling numbers. The possible solutions is here. What happened to farmers and what they could do. Finally, it says, brown hares have a number of physical adaptations that enable them to survive in open countryside. They have exceptionally large ears that move independently, so that a range of sounds can be pinpointed accurately. Positioned high up on their heads, the hare's large golden eyes give them 360 degrees vision, making it hard to take a hare by surprise. Compared to mammals of a similar size, hares have a greatly enlarged heart and a higher volume of blood in their bodies, and this allows for superior speed and stamina. In addition, their legs are longer than those of a rabbit, enable hares to run more like a dog and reach speeds up to 70 kilometers per hour. Wow. So finally, this would be useful physical features: the hairs, the eyes, the legs. Okay, this is the one, and this is how you answer this exercise. I will see you next class.